Now, since we're basically done with the first review, let's get on to the second. This is my review of Sonic Colors. Now, to keep you guys up to date, this game is basically based off of the Unleashed era. Basically, we're a part where Sonic was actually turned into a werehog, as some of you may know. People really like the Sonic 3D levels, but people really didn't really enjoy the werehog levels as much as they like the Sonic the Hedgehog stages. Because of those games, they had this kind of 3D way of Sonic going at the speed of sound, literally faster than other games. So, let's look at this. This is my review of Sonic Colors for the DS and the Wii. So let's get started.
Now, before we get anywhere in this review, I would like to review the DS version because it's a lot quicker.
If there are any of you that are wondering that if I'm going to explain the plot in this one or any else that thing that actually happened in the Wii version, well, no. I'm going to leave that for the Wii version. So anyways, with this kind of port, we actually have a more Sonic Rush feel of this game, which is because this game was developed by DIMPS, the Advanced series, which also made the Rush series, so that's actually pretty cool. I can't say that these controls are really better than Sonic 4 itself. These controls are exactly the same, only with a better rolling feature and also with a boost. This is what actually made it really good. I wish Sonic 4 had the boost in Sonic 4, but I think I'm gonna start peeing some people off, so I think I'll stop talking about that. The Wisp powers are really nice too. There are two exclusives in this one that's basically a burst wisp that actually lets you be a fiery, I don't know, shield or something like that. And there's also this one wisp that lets you suck in everything. And we'll be seeing that later on in these reviews. Later on. Anyways, there are four different controller types, which is the Wii Remote and the Nunchuck, the Wii Remote alone, the GameCube controller, and the Classic controller. Preferably, I would pick the GameCube controller or the Wii Remote and Nunchuck combination because it just feels a lot more better. As far as getting into the story, it's basically your Sonic 1 typical old story where your Sonic's trying to save all the little critters from Dr. Eggman. An original plot that was in the first game, but here it actually kind of works when they put confidence into it. Sonic and Tails are supposed to be convinced that Eggman has gone to his good ways, since Eggman has built an interstellar amusement park everywhere around this place. In real, he's actually doing it to use something else, which I'm not going to say at this point. Until then, Sonic learns that he can use the Wisp as new power-ups. Nice! And later in the game, Sonic, being Sonic, he doesn't really believe Eggman and knows that there's something going on that's incredibly wrong. After a bit of level searching and boss hunting, we finally see that Eggman is really trying to use these guys as a power-up to actually destroy Sonic, which is very basic, and they should have known this by the second Eggman tried to get them to believe that he was going to his good ways. From this point on, it's basically Sonic and Tails trying to free the little critters' planet, which is pretty nice. If you compare this game's plot to previous Sonic games, it would be like comparing a cartoon, Saturday morning cartoon that fat, to a basic anime. And yes, it's just like that. The basic writers for this actual kind of game was Mad World from, Mad World and basically Happy Tree Friends, which I could say is an okay feature, but they do have their own time to spare. So it kind of takes out the whole Happy Tree Friend videos. Never really played Mad World either. This is really the best that Sonic's been written in years, and I say that for all that terms to it. This writing is incredible. Sure, the writing might get a little childish during the end, but during the first half and the second, it's actually pretty fun and enjoyable. And yes, as people have been saying, there are new voice actors in this installment. Basically, Tails is voiced by Kate Higgins, which was also a voice on Lucky Star, I think for Mikumi's mother, in fact. So yeah, she's a pretty good choice. She sounds a lot like a younger boy than just some yelling out crybaby, so it's actually pretty preferable and acceptable. Sonic the Hedgehog is voiced by Roger Craig Smith, which was a voice for Chris Redfield from Resident Evil, and basically some others. But in this one, he sounds pretty okay. I do admit, though, it does kind of suck that they're actually mixing in such childish writing with an older voice. It's like hearing my own dad say, "Hey, what's going on? Could we go to the park?" So basically, yeah. In voice acting, it's good, but with the writing, it doesn't come off as okay. The only returning voice actor from the 4Kids group is Mike Pollock, which I have to say he was an exact good one to keep, because he is the best Eggman voice there is to come. And I'm not going to talk about those other guys. I mean, like, it deserves for some kind of comic relief, but there's already enough of that in this game, so they really didn't have no point to actually put them in here. As far as the Wii game on graphical quality, it looks really good, and it looks like they really wanted this game to be really, really awesome for 2010. And for those that don't know, yes, this game was released in 2010. Not 11, 10. I don't know how you guys get that mixed up. You have 5 rings within each stage, which is kind of good, and these rings do have a purpose in the game, but I'm not going to explain it right now. We still got a couple of things to go over, which is the gameplay, the most important part of the game. Basically, in the game, Sonic controls just like he did in Unleashed, but they try to put that formula in here, and it actually pretty much works. So basically, it's all daytime stages, which I really like. For your moveset, you have a boost that can let you go at the speed of sound, I'm assuming, and you also have a double jump that's not so good in 2D, but it's good anyways. And also, you also have the air dash, which is actually pretty good if you plan on getting somewhere with a safe bet. And the homing attack, if you're close to an enemy. The Wisps weren't put in here for only story plot reasons, they had some kind of gimmick to the game. Like I said, Wisps are these sort of creature things that Sonic can use in order to tap into their inner power, so he can bypass enemies or whatnot. First off, the normal Wisp that actually grants Sonic the power to boost. Huh, I thought he needed rings in order to boost. Although, these things aren't plastered everywhere, so they're not as collectible as rings, but just still okay. There's also the Cyan Wisp, which is literally called the color it is, and it basically lets you turn into a laser in order to bypass enemies or destroy them. And we also have the Drill Wisp that lets you drill through tight barrels and stuff like that. All the Wisp powers are actually used in order to get certain goodies and are never, like, forced on you, so it's pretty good. Also, the Wisp that join our list, we have the Cube Wisp that allows you to actually, get secret treasures and actually turn into some kind of weird cube in order to smush these rocks or whatever in order to actually boost up your score. Don't ever worry about dying in this form, because in all the Wisp forms you can't really die unless you're actually under the ground with the Drill Wisp or either just in some kind of place that you are sure to die in. And also, the Spike Wisp is actually a little thing that I like to call the Spiky Wisp, which actually lets you cling onto other surfaces, just like I'm showing you right here. And it's a really good power-up. And you can also do the Spin Dash. Okay, what the heck? Really? I thought since this was a game that had basically a lot of 2D in it, it would have the Spin Dash, but no, it doesn't. For a regular Sonic. Why? We also have Hover that's not as fast as Tails, but I guess preferably one, I guess? It's basically used in order to get those extra goodies that you want. And it can also do the Light Speed Dash. Okay, what's up with Sega Team in doing this? As much as I think those Wisps are there just because, the Rocket Wisp is actually pretty good too. When Sonic uses it, he can turn into a rocket, which is awesome! Then he can defy gravity at all will, which is strange, but Sonic game. Gotta remember that. Oh yeah, we also have Frenzy, which is a kind of power that actually lets you, well, go all frenzy on people. It controls like total butt in 3D, but in 2D it's actually quite okay. Only the 3D just really controls badly, but the pain is only temporary. Wait, hold on. Why is the option satellite glowing like that? Wait a second. What? An option for Supersonic? What the heck does that mean? Wait, since I have 50 rings, does that actually mean... Supersonic is playable in a 3D Sonic game? Really? Oh my god! It's been a while ever since we got something like this, but in a 3D Sonic game? I mean, like, partially, yeah, the whole thing is 2D, but this is freaking amazing! Really? Wow, it was a nice turn to see Sonic actually return, Super Sonic return in Sonic 4, but in a 3D Sonic game? Wow! Jesus! Let's continue. Now, don't get too excited here, folks. You can't really play as Super Sonic during boss fights because they're already incredibly easy, so that's an okay feature. And plus, you don't even get to play as Super Sonic for the final boss, which kind of sucks though, but still then again, no problem with it. And plus, for any other occasion, Sonic can't use the Wisp power-ups when he's actually playing as Super Sonic. Not an entire loss, because if I can blaze at the speed of light, go anywhere I want, and plus not run out of boost, then who would need power-ups at this point in time? Really, I'm freaking immortal. I can do whatever I want. On the world map, you also have a multiplayer mode. What I like about this place is that you can pick the avatar of your choosing, only it's just a me head on a Sonic's body, which is kinda weird looking. But anyways, this stage comes equipped with 7 worlds in 3 stages, which is kinda neat. You actually open these up with the red rings. So, yeah. Okay, maybe I should talk about it now. Yes, I did forget to mention the red rings in Sonic 4 Episode 2. I just forgot about it. Sorry, you guys. But what they do in that game is basically nothing. They unlock an achievement, but really, what is that? I mean, like, if you're an achievement whore, then I think that's okay, but wow. I don't see what the need was in order to just put 2 songs. Couldn't they have just had Tails being playable in this game? Like, really. But we all know how Sega is against playable characters now, do we? Our stages are Tropical Resort, Sweet Mountain, and Starlight Carnival. Which reminds me of Tron every time I play this stage. We also have Planet Wisp, which actually looks really beautiful for my eyes. And we also have Aquarium Park, or as I like to call it, China Underwater. We also have Asteroid Coast that has a bunch of roller coasters and asteroids. Not really much to say though. And the terribly easy Terminal Velocity. I think I said it right. And yeah, I know what you guys are thinking. Boss fights? Yeah, these things guys are easy. It's not that I don't like them, it's just that they're just way too easy. These have got to be the easiest Sonic bosses in modern Sonic history. We also have a Terminal Velocity blah blah blah, whatever the name is, boss fight. And I have to say, this is one of the most epic boss fights of all time of Sonic history. Really, the music track is good, the boss fight is really creative, actually more creative than the ones that I've been seeing throughout the whole entire game, and plus, it's just overall a good boss, and at the end, it is awesome. Did expect the super form though. Now, before I show my face on screen, I would like to note out that Sonic's control overall could have been really better in the 2D sections, only I think it was designed for the 3D sections. And it really does suck because there's way too much 2D in this game. I can't even stand it. I mean, sure, it's been a bumpy ride ever since the '06 era, but really, it's not the idea to go away from it entirely. Just gotta keep going until you get it right. Even if it does switch to 3D, you just have to go through tight corners while drifting, or you're either avoiding lasers going right or left. Overall, I think the game is really good, and it doesn't lack like Sonic 4. But next time in this genre, we're going to be looking at Sonic Generations. So let's get this thing started. Polar Jack signing out. Peace.